How do you wrap things up with the players? What's been your...
I haven't done that. That'll happen later in the week. Traditionally we give them the early part of the week. Find their feet and do what they have to do. And then, we'll get into exits. I think they start tomorrow and then wrap the season up on Friday with them.
When you talk to them about the whole season and how it's played out, what do you think you'll say to them?
I think the most frustrating thing has been our inconsistency. And said that all along. And there's been some things across the season that we probably haven't handled as well as we could have in terms of dealing with expectation and putting ourselves behind the eight ball from the start of the season and not starting the season well. But they're all experiences that'll grow us as a group if we learn from them and understand how to cope with them next time they come around. So largely it'll be around the mindset we need to take into the off season and take into next pre-season, and I think largely that's a bigger thing to learn from than the X's and the O's. Everyone externally loves to talk about magnets on whiteboards, but there's been a real human element to this season that we need to learn from, and I look forward to discussing that with the players and getting them to discuss it and using that to frame up how we approach the off-season, pre-season.
Is consistency something you can work on, or do you think that it comes naturally with experience?
Well, I think our consistency is improved across the season. So absolutely, you can work on it, and that just comes down to, teaching them how to play 120 minutes of our brand. And clearly throughout the year, start of the year we're nowhere near that. Back end of the year, it was periods of games that were costing us. Second, you sleep on these a lot, or you don't sleep on these. Second quarter of the Collingwood game, 15-minute period of the first quarter of the Sydney game where we conceded 5 goals. Those hit the front against the Dogs away and concede 7 goals, but 3 goals in 8 minutes to cough up the lead, and then you're chasing the game. So, and then the last 6 weeks have been pretty consistent. After the first quarter of the Sydney game, we've been really competitive, and it's probably just come back to a bit of execution, forward to centre. So, we've worked on the consistency across the season, we still need to make sure, we frame that up as part of the mindset we bring.
Matt Taylor on Saturday. The WAFL game, big game, bit of a sore back. How's he holding up?
Yeah, well, we haven't got a full debrief on that yet. It's not too serious, which is a positive. Not ideal, given his history. But like I've said all along, it's like a significant injury he's come back from. And, we're going to get some ups and downs with it. As I said, it's not too serious, and he should be able to jump into the off-season pretty well.
About 12 blokes qualified for the Thunder finals, including some really senior guys, Matt Brody. How do you expect them to go? What are you sort of looking for them from these high-pressure finals?
Oh, it's a good opportunity for them to, showcase their form in their roles and keep working on their games. We've got some young players and some older players that will really benefit out of playing WAFL finals. So I think there's about 5 or 6 guys that'll out of the squad from the week of the AFL squad that'll drop back. So it's a good opportunity for them to finish the season off. Like you said, we can play up to 12 players, which will maximise. So it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity for the partnership between us and Peel. So I think that's taken a few really good steps forward this year, and we've really benefited from it, and they've benefited from it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far they can go.
How much, obviously you've got Jeff there, who's the coach, very experienced coach. How much impact or influence do you have at all going forward in that final series? Do you help out or anything? Or?
No. They've worked together now, that coaching group, for a couple of years now. So I'll help Joffa during the week, and we bounce ideas around where players are playing and those sorts of things. But the game day stuff and the strategy stuff, we'll just leave to them.
What about with Lisa Webb, her first derby as a coach this weekend? Do you have any influence with her, or do you have a chat to her ahead of it?
No. Well, not no, nothing apart from giving her my best wishes. She's had an outstanding influence on that group from what I've seen, and she's a real pro in terms of wanting to get better at her coaching craft, and she sat in a lot of our meetings and been a bit of a fly on the wall in our program. So might hit her up for some opportunities to do the same in her program, see if I can learn some stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what the women can produce. I think their pre-season's been pretty exciting, and I'm excited to see what they can produce.
Will you be there on the weekend?
Yeah, I'll try and get along to as many games as I can across the season. It's good that it doesn't clash with the Peel game. So yeah, it could be a footy weekend for me. Looking forward to getting down to Fremantle Oval, and it should be a good crowd. I love the fact that the women's starting in the week off, gives them a bit of clear air, and we can bounce into the season.
Do you expect them to have a strong year?
I'm not really across the ages and form and that of all the teams. What I see is a really committed group and a really excitable, energetic group of girls that will make the Freo family proud this year. But I'm not really sure. I don't have a lens about where they'll finish in the season or how they're tracking against the competition. But I'm excited to go and watch.
Heading into the off-season and the trade period, is the hope to try and keep as much of the playing list together as possible?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I think it's well documented. We had a lot of players leave last year, a lot of turnover of the list, 10 changes I think all up. And this year's needs to be about stability more than anything else.
And just on Diana's form this season, had a great year, booting 41 goals. What do you think he needs to do over the off-season to try and build on that and go to being like a 50, 60 goal kicker?
Well, first of all, he just needs to have a really good off-season and make sure he gets fitter and stronger. Yeah, he's had a great opportunity of playing on some of the best key defenders in the comp, and they've all probably got 5 or 6 years on him and a bit of size and strength on him. So that's first and foremost. And then there's some things with his craft, marking craft, leading craft. And the way he builds a connection with our midfielders and high forwards, I think, is going to be really important going forward. I've had the pleasure of working with some good key forwards over my time, and what they do is they get in the ear of the mids and tell them where they want it kicked and how they're going to lead, and they really go to work on building those relationships and connections. So, he's got that ahead of him.
Justin, obviously exit meetings this week. Are you bracing for a hard conversation with a guy like Liam Henry?
I'm looking forward to it. Like I've said all along, the ball's in his court. He knows where I stand. He knows where the club stands. And from what I understand is he's getting closer to making a decision. So looking forward to having a chat with him.
What is your gut tell you?
It's undecided. So like I've said all along, I hope he stays. I think this is the best place for his development, as we've seen over a number of years now. So, and I think this is the best place for his footy. So I hope he stays, but I don't really have an opinion on whether he's leaving or staying.
What about 3 senior guys? Well, probably going to be playing Waffle, Collier, Hammond and Nathan Wilson. How are they sort of tracking?
Yeah, well, we haven't had our final list management meeting, so that'll happen this week, and a few of those decisions will be made.
Sean Darcy 100% be a Dockers player next season?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, and for many years to come, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's it from that question.
There's been obviously a lot of drama about the 2 rucks in the one team. You have a trick up your sleeve as to how that can work.
Yeah, getting them both on the park and getting chemistry and building that partnership. Through the middle part of the year where we played our best footy, in my opinion, they were both playing, and gives us more flexibility to use Jacko in different ways, and we continue to grow Sean's forward craft and our ability to kick it to him better in the forward half. So I just don't see him as 2 rucks. See Luke totally different. So I see them working well together and being able to fit in the same team.
Is there anything
this pre-season that you would like to add skills-wise to this squad to take it to another level?
Yeah, of course we need to finish our work off more. Even though our scoring on last year is slightly going up, I think the one consistency across the season is we haven't finished our work off as well as we could have. And I think we're doing a lot right in terms of some of our ball movement, but we're just not finishing it off inside 50. The Port Adelaide game, we had 30 mid-turnovers, had 18 inside 50s and kicked 1 goal. You need a better result than that. And I think the difference between our wins and losses in the last 6 weeks, when there's been more consistency in our game, has been our execution forward to centre. So we'll continue to work on that.
Could any of that work come to sort of the trade table? Is there anybody what do you think you'd like to bring in to help that?
Probably not. No, I think we're going to be pretty, like I said, stable in terms of our list. And a lot of the execution things that I'm talking about is some of it's to do with youth and games played and feeling comfortable at the level. So, I just think we need to get more reps into some of our younger players.
Luke Jackson, Callum, LeBron, all spot in the squad. Do you think they can make the team?
Yeah, I think they all deserve to. Sometimes those sorts of things go on how many games you win and team performance. So they've all got their rights to a spot in the team. They've all had really consistent, really good years. So, hopefully they all make it.
And with Luke Jackson as well, he probably took a few weeks to find his feet in the team. His back end of the year, is that sort of vindication for what, the pay getting?
Yeah. All along it wasn't based on what he could do in the first 4 weeks of the year, or first 2 weeks of the year. We knew we were getting Luke in as a long-term project, that someone who's going to play 10 to 15 years of footy for us. So I think the way we view Luke at the end of the year versus at the start of the year, we'd all agree he's taken his footy forward in leaps and bounds. So we'll continue to get work into him, and he'll continue to grow and develop.
And Eddie Brayshaw as well had a pretty strong year. You think he'd be disappointed to not make the squad?
Yeah, I think he's probably stiff to miss out. I think, probably started the year a little bit slowly, but I think he's got back to his best footy and had a really consistent year. So, he'd be disappointed to miss out, but he'd probably be more disappointed and frustrated in the team.
When you guys finish,
Adam Simpson, have you reached out to Simo? Any thoughts on that?
No, I haven't. I'll let the dust settle on that. I'm glad he's held his job. I think as a senior coach, you like to see out your term at least, and I'm glad he's going on.
have you got many guys off the off-season surgery?
No, we're pretty clean at the moment, and I don't think there'll be anything that jumps out. So I think the obvious ones, Chappie and a few guys, but the guys you already know about, I don't think there'll be any surprises.
And how about the upcoming final series? Do you encourage players to sit down and watch games that they probably wish they were a part of? You love your players to watch as much footy throughout the year as they can, because you want them to understand roles and trends of the game and see how the best players do it. So love them to watch the final series. I'm not going to mandate it or anything like that. They need a break from the game as well. But they'll be burning though. They'll be burning and frustrated that we're not a part of it, and hopefully that drives us for the off season and pre-season.